I used to think that being self-centered meant that you were a bitch, but actually it's the most important thing you can do in terms of becoming your dream self. You guys, quick life update. I'm back. I'm ready to be locked in on this podcast. I've honestly been missing doing these episodes so much because as they help you, they also help me get all of my insights and everything that I've been learning lately out. I have my V and I'm ready to go. Let's talk about detachment. We all know and love validation. We grew up in a very validation-filled world, and I just want to make a really quick big point that I hope that this changes your entire perspective on anything external validation related, because only validation that we really need is in here. And obviously, I mean, not all external validation is bad for you, and it's actually a way that we form communities with other people, because encouragement is one of the best forms to push us to keep going. And when you don't have that validation in yourself, it can be really easy to find external validation extremely addicting, because if that's your only source of recognizing yourself and your own value, then of course you're gonna continue looking for it. Obviously, it's also a growing and a learning curve. I mean, as teenage girls, we always have that sort of awkward, am I ugly type stage in our life. And I feel like I definitely had that. And the older I got, the more I realized all of that has to come from within myself. Everything is a reflection of you at the end of the day. It's so important that you understand this, because this changed my entire perspective on everything. That external validation that you're seeking from others, no matter who they are, people can only ever see you through a perception of their own self, their own beliefs, their own values, things that they've experienced. They're only seeing you through a projection of themselves, which is why you could be the best person ever, or maybe you've met someone and everyone loves them and gravitates towards them, and you're like, what the fuck? Why do I not click with this person? I don't have a good feeling about them. What is it about them that I'm not liking? Am I just a bitch? I've had this happen so many times, and honestly, it's a real human normal reaction where you just feel their energy and you're just actually, something about them I don't like. Maybe subconsciously they remind you of someone from your past that you got hurt by, and you just are protecting yourself in a way from that type of energy. There's so many different variations, but you always see people through a reflection of yourself, which is why our nervous system, our attachment style, all of this, even getting into relationships, you attract what you are and what you are looking for, because it's a projection of yourself. So this is why it's so important to find that solid foundation in who you are and validating yourself, because if you start focusing on just the external, which like I said, not all external validation is bad, but most of the time, if that's your sole source of validation, it's just going to end up putting you into a shaky spiral, because that is basically building your self-worth off a deck of cards that honestly has nothing to do with you. God forbid you continued after this episode taking on what other people think about you, say about you. I would be a broken little soul if I took on what everyone ever said about me, because I myself have always been a big personality, and it's only taken me now 18 years later, which is still young, to go back to realizing that I'm not everyone's cup of tea. No one is everyone's cup of tea, and if someone doesn't like you, that's simply just a projection of themselves and what they value, what they like. It's so complex. People, especially on the internet in comment sections, people always have something to say when, again, it's so cliche when everyone says of course, they're just jealous of you and all that, but that it actually could be true. If you have something that someone else doesn't and they're not sure internally how to deal with that information, then it's a you problem, but it's actually not anything to do with you and everything to do with that other person. And the world would be such a happier place if we all learnt to build our self-worth and our recognition and our validation of ourselves internally without trying to get it from outside sources, because that's not how energy works. That's not how the world works. And it's just not a good place to be. If that didn't snap you out of this external validation loop, I don't know what will, but I want my voice to be in your head every single time you start thinking, oh, fuck, he thinks I'm ugly, or she doesn't like how she didn't think my joke was funny. Who cares? They just have their own preferences. It's like going to a restaurant and ordering pizza. Everyone has their own type of preference on what they prefer on pizza, and it's nothing personal to the person sitting next to them. Once you start this detachment process, I'm so proud of you for starting, because you've clicked on this video and obviously you're curious about it. Only you in saying that everyone has a projection on other people, only you get to decide who you're going to be and who you're going to show up as in this world. And while it's scary to kind of stop caring what people think about you because it makes you seem like detached and heartless and cold, you're not heartless and cold. You're just so consumed by yourself that you don't need anyone's approval or disapproval to make you happy. And that is a very peaceful place to be in, because personally, my own life, and I still have a lot of work to do. I'm not saying that I'm like the detachment queen by any means, because I have become aware of it now, and I can sort of defer whether that was a big word, defer. I can sort of defer whether I'm, doing something for external validation, trying to impress somebody. Like, once you become aware of it, you can't unsee it. And so I think now that I have that in the back of my mind at all times, I sort of know I'm doing something strictly because I just want to do it. I love it. It makes me happy, and I'm detached from the outcome or how people are going to perceive it, because at the end of the day, like I said, it's a projection. I can't control, good or bad, how anyone is going to react to anything. As long as I feel good about it in myself and it makes me happy and it's aligned to who I am, then that's all I can really do and focus on. One more point to tie over my main argument is that detached humans are usually, think of baddies who are very sure of themselves and they are just naturally cool and they have this cool aura about them and they're very niche and diva and all that. They are detached from the external and so connected to themselves that they don't give a fuck if you like or don't like them. The world continues spinning whether or not you like them, or you like their outfit that day, or you disagree with their makeup choices. Like, they continue being them because they're so fulfilled and focused on what's going on in here and how to continue shining that light moving forward rather than what you think about them that day. I'm sure they don't give a fuck. Maybe I'll do an episode on this as well, but I feel like this is a lot of a big problem in female friendships too, is like that competition side of it. I feel like when people are too focused on the outwardness, like ego and the outside world and expectations and what people are going to say, what people are going to think, then that's where that competition side comes in. So by detaching, people will say that you're self-centered and you're a bitch and you're too selfish, but in reality you're actually becoming a better human being for focusing on yourself and your internal, and all that does is attract more people like that into your life. Once you start being self-aware of the things that you are attached to, which that could be your friendships, your relationships, your behaviors, things that you have been doing just out of the sake of you're so used to doing it, but you don't actually like it. You just do it because your friends do it. You will realize how many and how much of those things that you're the only person holding up your side of the deal. Watch how many things just fall to the ground and collapse because you were the only person attaching and holding up every single side shape of whatever you've got going on. And another way that you'll realize you're attached is if there is a friendship in your life or a particular connection where you felt like you've been the only person holding up your end of the deal, and the second you actually try, and as scary as it is, it's so good for you to put yourself first and detach, you'll be like, what the fuck? Like, this person isn't putting up their end of the deal. But when you practice that more and more, that feeling of detachment and knowing that you're good with and without everything external, you become peaceful in knowing that no matter how anything ends, no matter how a situation goes, whatever it is, that anxiety is gone, because you know that like no matter what happens, you will always be okay regardless, and you were okay before that person and you're going to be okay after. A person shouldn't make my life valuable. They should add to what I can already give myself, and I should be able to just enjoy that. But I also know that no matter what the outcome is, like, I will be okay. A lot of girlies are out here dating men that are shitty for validation and then wondering why they feel anxious and all of the sorts when you're not looking at how you feel about yourself first. I've probably said this analogy before. I think I have actually in one of my older podcast episodes, but I want you to think of your life currently as it is. Think of everyone in it, all the situations, circumstances, maybe everything you're just attached to, and think of it as you're all being stuffed and cramped, including yourself, into an elevator. And once an elevator is at its max, you can't move it forward or upward or any particular motion, because there's way too much being stored in there, too many energies, too much weight that you don't need to be holding on to, and the elevator can't actually hold on to itself. And so This is quite a clever analogy I've come up with, actually. Naturally, anyways, in, let's say, a hotel elevator, there's only a maximum amount of people allowed in the elevator. And of course, one by one, everyone eventually gets out. You got to go where you're going to go. So you're focused on that and yourself, and everyone else in the elevator, every situation with you in that elevator also has to go where they got to go. And you're not going to grab someone by the arm as they're going to leave the elevator and be like, wait, no, come back. I need you. I need you. I need you. It never happens, ever. They got to go where they got to go. And you might bump into them another time. You might see them that afternoon. You might see them later in life or never again. And that's okay. In order to keep this elevator moving upwards, you can't hold everyone into this space. And you're actually holding those other people in those situations back from other people and moving forward in their own lives by trying to keep them in that elevator. But they've got to do their own thing as well. So think of it like that. And it honestly puts so much into perspective onto the things that you're actually holding on to, that maybe you're like, actually, these don't serve me anyway, so I'm going to let them go out of this elevator. But that should be like everything good and bad in your life. Like even the good things, enjoy them and observe them and take them for what they are, but don't get so attached to the point where you feel like you need those to be happy and feel a certain way about yourself. Personally, I'm going to choose being aware and growing over being safe and comfortable every single time, because if you're holding on to so much weight and so many things to try and tie you down, and all it's going to do is keep you in the same bubble, the same situation, the same daily life every single day, and you're never going to push yourself outside of your comfort zone where you do detach and you meet new people and make space for new things. And it's like another analogy, but it's like having a wardrobe full of clothes that you're not necessarily loving anymore, and you're kind of in a new space in your life, a new era, and you have to get rid of all these things to make space for a new wardrobe that does align with you. And it's just the same thing as that. And sometimes when you detach, it doesn't always end up with people like falling apart, friendships falling apart, you never see certain people again. Sometimes that person is just a seasonal thing. Like I have friendships in my life where I've kind of detached from the situation naturally, or something's happened to make me do that, and the friendship has still been intact. It just has kind of come in waves and seasons where for a couple of weeks we're hanging out, and then the next couple of weeks we don't really see each other. But naturally, that's a part of life, and it's all about the flow. Don't think that just because you're detaching, everything's going to fall apart. The fear is of the unknown of what's going to happen when you do let go. You'll never know if you don't try, and you might actually feel, and you probably will 100% feel 10 times lighter when you do let go, and work with the internal and how you can make that a solid foundation, because you'll end up attracting people and encouraging your friends and your family around you to do the same by doing it yourself. If you guys don't know and you haven't listened to my previous episodes, which I recommend you do, I have been doing The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, which is the book that Doechii did on her kind of creative authenticity journey. I heard a saying the other day in the book as I was reading my chapter, and it was about focusing on the what and never the how, because the how is the universe's job, it's life's job, it's the flow of life's job. And by focusing and trying to control too much of the how, or any of the how at all, you actually are limiting your options as to what life and the universe will give you. And when you focus on the what and you have clarity in where you want to be and the things that you do want to achieve or bring into your life, there's so much pressure and anxiety taken off your shoulders. If you're certain about what you're doing and what the what is, the universe is going to be just as certain, if not more, about what the what is as well. It all starts with you. And the quote that I heard from the book about this too was, she was kind of saying something along the lines of, you could be so focused on the what and the how of what a particular situation, and I need to drink water, but it can only be out of this cup. Like it has to be out of this glass cup, and if it's not that, then that's not my manifestation, and that's not what I asked for. So nothing else can happen other than me drinking out of this cup. But by you focusing so much on the how of like, it has to be this particular thing, my manifestation has to come as this, and if it's not that, then I don't want anything else. You could be so focused on that. Meanwhile, you've just passed your manifestation as like a waterfall, and you've been so focused on drinking out of this particular cup and the expectation of what that manifestation or what that thing that you're after looks like to you, but miss a whole lot of opportunities because you're so focused on that instead of like an unexpected way that's 10 times better than your expectation the universe has just given you like that. And you miss so many beautiful opportunities and doors that you've actually been asking for, but you're so focused on your own expectations and your own fixed mindset around things and attachments to things rather than being open to whatever way that thing that you're after, that person, whatever it is that you're looking for, just like coming in a complete different way. That's not exactly what you expected, but it's still the same. So keep that in mind the next time you're like, it has to be this at this time, at this date. Like, don't close yourself off. Don't limit your options by tunnel visioning on an expectation and an attachment to a certain outcome when it's not always going to be that way. And maybe something 10 times better is coming. Detachment is like free falling, which is really scary to most people, everyone actually, but in a peaceful way. Because, okay, wait. Think of it as like a Roblox obby. Like if you play Roblox, like you like fall down those things and there's like the laser beams everywhere. Like think of it as like that, but there's no way that you can really touch a laser beam. And if you do, you can just free fall again and see what happens. There's nothing that could go wrong. And like I said earlier, the only thing scary about detaching is that you don't know what's coming next. And no one likes to not know what's going on in their life. No one likes not having clarity. But honestly, the best thing that you can do is, again, build that foundation in yourself and be still with yourself and hear yourself think for once and what you want and validating yourself instead of trying to get all those answers outside of you, because that's not the place that you should be looking. Trust me. Speaking of the how and the what in terms of manifestation, when you trust to let the how unfold naturally, which is basically the biggest major way to detach, you start building that trust and that belief in yourself naturally and also in the universe, because I believe that we are just vessels for the universe flowing through us, and each individual here on earth has their own particular mission, things that they have to get, things that they have to teach people, and at the end of the day you have to be a clear channel to let that all just come out without judgment by just letting life unfold how it is and controlling yourself and your own internal and building that relationship and letting go. And if you don't know where to start with detachment, just think of this one big point is to focus on the what. If you don't know what the what is yet, write it down, get specific with it, and let the how unfold on its own and let go of anything outside of yourself. But while it's important to not attach to the outside world and to people, outcomes, situations, things, it's also important to listen and observe the outside world instead of taking it on board. I hope that makes sense. But in saying all of this, I just want you to know that you should be self-centered. It is your life. You get to create whatever reality you want to live in, whatever world you want to live in. And detaching and building that internal relationship to yourself is the road to a peaceful, sexy, beautiful, fun, authentic, magnetic life, and key to everything, the key to peace, the key to happiness. And trust me, I have learnt the hard way when sometimes if you don't detach, the universe forces you to detach, and it's like, girl, you didn't listen to my methods, so I'm gonna give you the only way I know how to force you to let go of this thing. I don't know about you, but I'd rather learn and teach myself and get used to and comfortable with the art of detaching rather than the universe do it for me. And I've had that happen many times. So keep that in mind. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment. If you have any like episode ideas, please let me know, because I love to help with things that you actually maybe are currently going through and some things that maybe I have gone through myself. And yeah, I love y'all, and I hope whatever day, night, whenever you're watching this is pleasant for you. I don't know. I'm gonna go now. Love y'all.